Today we're exploring Cochrane's 2025 Spring Market Real Estate Report. If you've been considering this beautiful town as an alternative to Calgary, or you're already there and you're wondering what's happening with your home value, this video is packed with insights letting you know what the last 3 months have been doing here in Cochrane. We'll compare Cochrane directly with Calgary, break down what's happening between the two different cities and towns, and I'll share my predictions of where I believe the market is headed here in Cochrane. Let's dive in. So Cochrane continues to be one of Alberta's most desirable community, and the spring 2025 numbers reflect that premium positioning. The benchmark price in Cochrane sits at $582,380. That's up a solid 5% year over year. Compare that to Calgary at $588,840, which dropped 0.1%. So we're talking about virtually identical price points, but Cochrane is showing a much stronger price growth compared to Calgary. Sales are down 2%, so to 443 units year to date, which is remarkably stable compared to the broader market pullbacks we've seen everywhere else. So in fact, Cochrane sales are still running 25% higher than the long-term trends. This market has fundamentally shifted to a higher level of activity. Here's what I find fascinating about Cochrane is that it's maintaining near Calgary pricing while delivering that coveted small town mountain community lifestyle. So you're getting the best of both worlds here. Now let's talk about the supply side, because this is where Cochrane's story gets really interesting. New listings jumped 33% year over year and inventory has increased 73%. Before you think market crash, let me put this into perspective for you. We're moving from extremely tight conditions to merely the right conditions. At 2.5 months of supply, Cochrane matches Calgary exactly. But here's the key difference. Cochrane has historically operated with higher inventory levels than this. So while this may seem, we're seeing normalization, we're still in a seller's market territory here. The sales to new listing ratio is 61%. Slightly better than the Calgary similar metrics. This means that properties are still moving, just not with the same frantic pace as they have been in the last few years. So days on market have increased to 40 days compared to Calgary 28 days for detached home. But remember, you're dealing with a smaller pool of buyers here in Cochrane, so this is actually quite reasonable when we're really thinking of it compared to Calgary, which has a much bigger buying pool. Let's break down each property category. So because Cochrane's market nuances are really important to understand. So we'll start with detached homes. So Cochrane detached homes average price is $677,420. That's up 4% year over year, where Calgary sits at $769,400, up just 1%. So you're saving about $92,000 by buying a single family home in Cochrane rather than Calgary. So you're typically getting also more land and mountain views here in Calgary. So that's also something to keep in mind. Semi-detached properties or duplexes were at $517,580. So that's up 3%. Cochrane semis offer significant savings compared to Calgary, which is at $697,300. That's nearly $180,000 in savings if you're looking at a semi-detached or duplex home. Row housing. So Cochrane townhouses are at $440,140. That's up 3% year over year. Meanwhile, Calgary row houses are at $453,600, actually declining 1.9%. So Cochrane townhouses is outperforming both in terms of stability and growth, but price point, they're pretty similar to the Calgary market. Apartments, here's where things get really interesting. Cochrane's apartments are at $337,900. That's up 16%. That's exceptional growth. Calgary's apartments are at $335,300, down 1.5%. So Cochrane condos are actually more expensive than Calgary and dramatically outperforming Calgary's market. So if you're looking at condos in Cochrane, you're actually going to probably be paying more than you would in Calgary, and they're moving a little bit probably quicker here in Cochrane as well. So this tells me that buyers are seeing real value in Cochrane's condo market, likely because of the lifestyle and the location premium, so you're paying for that. Why is Cochrane holding its value so well compared to Calgary? Well, those are several factors involved there. So the location is premium. You're 20 minutes from Calgary, but feel like you're in the mountains. The proximity to both urban amenities and outdoor recreation is rare and valuable. The other one is limited geography. So Cochrane can't sprawl like Calgary can. So the Bow River and the foothills create natural boundaries that supports actually long-term value, if you think about it. It's a bit like a mini Vancouver. Now, this isn't just another suburb. Cochrane has genuine small town character with festivals, local businesses, and a strong community identity. The last one is new construction balance. So the report shows record high starts, but they're being absorbed well by demand. So this suggests sustainable growth rather than oversupply. Let's look at the broader trends. Cochrane is benefiting from several converging factors. So first, the urban exodus continues. So even as migration to Alberta slows, the within province movement from urban to rural, Cochrane is perfectly positioned for this trend. So remote work impact. Many Calgary professionals discover that they can work remotely or hybrid. So Cochrane offers that perfect compromise. Close enough for occasional office visits, but far enough away for those lifestyle benefits. Next one is investment perspective. With virtually identical pricing to Calgary, but better growth metrics, Cochrane presents compelling investment fundamentals. So the report notes that despite some cooling, Cochrane's inventory remains relatively low for what we have historically experienced. So this suggests continued upward pressure on prices. So we're going to see prices still continue to climb up and increase in Cochrane. So what should you do with this information? So Cochrane offers exceptional value compared to Calgary. So you're getting similar appreciation, potential with better lifestyle benefits. However, don't wait for that dramatic price drop. This market is strong fundamentally, and I don't think you're going to see market crashes anytime soon. Consider all property types. So if you're looking to buy, even Cochrane's condo are outperforming Calgary's, which suggests broader base strength across the market. If you're a seller, then you're in a very strong position, but the days of instant multiple offers are mostly over. Make sure that you're pricing competitively from day one. The market will absorb well-priced properties, but overpricing will cost you time and potentially money. The spring market shows sustained demand, so don't panic about seasonal fluctuations. As we lead into summer, we always see a little bit of a dip. There's not as many homes on the market. Buyers are off on holidays. It's just normal. The next big push is usually around the fall time. So looking ahead, where is Cochrane's market headed? The fundamentals remain incredibly strong. You've got continued population growth here in Alberta. You've got limited developable land in Cochrane. You've got strong economic ties in Calgary, and you've got unmatched lifestyle appeal. So the report suggests that we're moving towards more of a balanced condition, which is, I interpret it as a healthy normalization rather than the market weakness. A recent continued modest price growth, so maybe 3 to 5% annually rather than the double digits that we've seen in the past. New construction will continue, but Cochrane's geographic constraints prevent oversupply. The new builds are also generally going to be higher quality, which supports that market's premium positioning. So interest rate declines expected later this year should provide additional support, especially for the first-time buyers considering making that move into Cochrane. Here's my take. Cochrane represents one of Alberta's best real estate value propositions. So you get near Calgary pricing with small town charms, mountain access, and community character you simply are not going to find in the big city. The spring 2025 market shows this community has real staying power. So it's not just riding a boom bust cycle, it's establishing itself as a legitimate long-term alternative to urban living. So whether you're a first-time buyer, you're looking to upgrade, or you're considering investment properties, Cochrane deserves some serious consideration if you're looking to make the move. That wraps up our deep dive into Cochrane's spring market. What are your thoughts? Are you considering making that move from Calgary to Cochrane? Or maybe you're already there and you're just curious what your home value's at. Let me know in the comments. If you've got any questions, please feel free to DM me or comment below. I read every single one, and we often create our future videos based on the questions we get below. This market analysis was helpful. Please feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you're notified every time we put out a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around town.